It's another week. That means that we bring you the latest updates and innovations in the world of science. This is your favorite science and innovation show. It's Novelty with your favorite hostess with the mostest, Aina Quayle. Welcome to another conversation right here on Novelty. Today I am excited to be chatting with Shawana Shikongo. She is a medicinal scientist and we are here on campus at the University of Namibia, and she will be chatting to us about the things that she is passionate about, what it entails to be a scientist student. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very excellent and I'm very blessed.
All right. I love that you say that you are blessed. Walk us through your journey as a scientist student right here at the University of Namibia.
You see, doing science wasn't really my dream, but I guess I'm enjoying the journey because firstly I intended to study like medicine and surgery at the School of Medicine, but it didn't work out that way. And I just ended up doing medicinal science. Really a good journey, and the thing of getting opportunity to implement on certain samples, and you just know when you obtain this sample you're likely to get this result. It just gives you an insight into the science world.
Okay, now talk to us about what medicinal science is all about. When they say medicinal science, what is that field?
Oh, excellent. So when we say medicinal science, we refer to the field that studies chemicals and all compounds, specifically organic compounds, for medicinal purposes. You examine them, you know their structure, you know their name, you know their reactions, you know what happens when, for example, when benzene reacts with phenol, then you know what happens and what kind of chemical is likely to be brought and if it's able to cure a certain disease. So literally, we are the ones who work in the lab examining those things before the cure for a certain disease passed out.
Oh, okay. So you guys test the medicine, not the disease. What I mean is that if somebody is sick, do you test the samples like blood samples, or do you test the medicine that must cure this disease? What is...
Oh, for us, we focus on the medicine.
Okay.
Yeah. For the blood samples, those are the biochemists and the microbiologists. Those ones focus on samples from people.
Okay.
For us, we focus on chemicals, and we use Koch's postulates to determine the cure to a certain disease.
Okay. Seeing that you are likely to be in the lab the rest of your career, and also the fact that, you know, as a student, you do practicals in a lab. How do you then ensure your safety? How do you not, maybe you are touching some chemicals and then you go and touch your eye and that chemical ends up poisoning your eye? How do you ensure that you as an individual are safe in the lab?
So the thing is, when you enter the lab, just like every house has rules, the lab also has its own rules.
Okay.
So in the lab, you cannot enter the lab without wearing closed shoes and your lab coat and your safety goggles.
Okay.
So when you wear that, safety goggles will protect your eyes, and your lab coat is the one that will get infected by the chemicals and not your clothes.
Oh.
So that's why there's a rule passed by the Science Society just earlier this semester that no science student is allowed to wear their lab coat outside the lab. Considering the fact that the toxicity of the lab and that it's mostly attaches to the lab coat and not to your clothes. And you also wear gloves after all. So when you are handling chemicals, you wear gloves, and before you leave the lab, you wash your hands. And also when you enter the lab, you first clean up your bench, you wear your gloves, and you take the disinfectant. Yeah, you work with almost all aseptic techniques and sterilization guidelines.
What is the most fun thing about studying medicinal science for you?
The most fun thing studying medicinal science is being in the lab actually and playing around with samples. Like you can take a sample, you test it, you didn't get a test that you want, and you take another one. It's a thing of also when the most exciting part is writing the report. When you have to analyze what you really learned from learned from the report and from the experiment that you did, and how you can analyze it to the situation appearing in the world today.
Okay.
Like, it just gives you that sharp mind.
So with the samples that you guys test as students, what happens to those samples? Are they just for practical purpose? Or let's say if you are a brilliant student, is there a possibility that, you know, this medicine that you've created could be used in the real world, like in the field?
Medicines, they go a series of steps
Okay.
for them to enter the industry. So you're just making up here, even if we know what you did can cure a headache, it cannot just be applied like that. It has to go a certain series.
All right.
In fact, there's no medicine that can be released within like 6 months. It takes like a year for just a single medicine to be released.
Okay. And then what are the requirements if, you know, somebody at home wants to study medicinal science? Should they have 42 points? Should they have maybe studied science in high school? What are the requirements? What were the requirements that you needed to have for you to be accepted in the School of Medicine or School of Medicinal Science?
You see, the basic thing is you having chemistry and physics.
Okay.
When you have chemistry and physics, and speaking on the existing ground, you have to have done ASNE, advanced subsidiary level, and at least get a B or a A.
Okay.
Yeah, biology is also important in a certain aspect that you are dealing with medicine, and these medicines are going in certain systems, and this system is like biology, it's life. So you require biology, physics, and chemistry as major. However, math and physics don't leave each other behind, so you still have to bring mathematics along. But you should have at least the minimum symbol math should have is a C. You cannot go beyond that.
Okay. All right. And then what are your final words to students, or not maybe final words, but what is your advice to students out there aspiring to do medicinal science?
In the current situation of the world, I would advise more youth to do this field, especially looking at the fact that most of the existing doctors, especially the high doctors, they're being bribed to do fake medicine. But then if a honesty youth, someone who is aspiring to save lives and just make medicine the most exciting part of the world, then go for it. Take it. You might just change the world like that. And there's money in this industry, because especially when you become your own farmer, not collaborating with a big farmer.
Okay. And what year are you? Are you final year, third year?
A second year.
Oh, you are a second year. Okay. How is campus life so far?
I find campus life exciting. Probably it's because I'm in the hostel. Yeah, it's nice. And the fact that you always have enough, when you stay on campus, when you have enough time to study, literally you have nothing to do apart from eating, bathing, and studying. Probably doing your own some exercises. It's really good.
Okay. And then what is your go-to study method? Are you the type of person to sunrise? Are you the type of person to study, in the afternoon? Are you the type of person to study with music? And what would you advise, young people out there incorporate in their lives as their studying methods?
You see, I would say I'm really a weird person. I really have a studying time, but when I decide to study, I watch movies.
Okay.
So I study with movies on, or sometimes now music videos. So I cannot concentrate in a very quiet environment. I always have to make sure there's a noise, and that noise has to be consistent until I finish studying. If I put on a music, let just the music be playing until I'm done studying. If I start with movies, let the movies just be playing until I'm done studying. I cannot concentrate in a very quiet environment at all.
Okay.
However, to the rest of the people who would like to have a study method, what I suggest is going through your notes immediately after your lectures or immediately after class. Go through it. And when like that, you won't be required to spend more time on your studies anymore. You just do revision.
Yeah. Okay, because you already understand. And then how do you deal, with campus life challenges? There's a lot of maybe drugs, alcohol, there's a lot of influence, for a lack of a better word, for young people on campus. You're not with your parents. People can influence you to do certain things. How do you mitigate that influence, those external influences from other people?
I would say when I ended my first year, my sister gave me 10 rules of being a first year.
Okay.
And I kept them. And one of them is stay in your lane. Never try to fit in. Be a friend of the library. Only go out for events if you are free and when you are done studying, not when you feel like doing it. So literally, and also about my background, I never liked alcohol though. But as someone who wanted to do drugs, unfortunately, I went to a church, so I don't do drugs anymore. Not like drugs, yeah, just cigarettes.
Okay.
Let me not make it wide. They're just cigarettes, so I don't do it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because of the church and the background
the church
and the family that you have. All right. Thank you very much, Shawana, for joining us here. Do you have any last words? Anything that you'd want to say, for our viewers at home, for fellow students? Your final words.
My final word is I love you guys. And take charge in your academics.
Okay.
Preferably, even if you have a degree, upgrade it to a master. Like, it's really important, especially in this world. It's qualifications that matters. People say it's about who you know, but still what you know matters.
What you know matters. All right. Thank you very much, Shawana.
All right.
We will be right back. Stay with Novelty. Let's get into some science news. The Scientific Society Swakopmund concluded the 2023 German Week with a lecture by Professor Hans Wockel-Gretschel, Thomas Manz, Felix Krau. The German Weeks are organized by the German Embassy in Windhoek and its partner from Team Germany. These 3 weeks of events are related to the German Language Development Corporation, culture, arts and science. As part of it, the Scientific Society Swakopmund offered the screening of a German film, EVV 2021 comedy drama on the 3rd of October 2023 at the Swakopmund Museum Lecture Hall and concluded with Thomas Manza Felix Krau, also Shemoreman, which took place on the 10th of October. He elaborated on his passion for reading and explained in detail what the Shemoreman is. Both the events were well visited and enjoyed by those that were in the audience.
Was ist das Besondere an diesem unscheinbaren Werk, das 1559 von der spanischen Inquisition auf den Index gesetzt wurde, aber 1573 wieder erscheinen durfte, aber mit ein paar signifikanten Änderungen im Text und Unterstreichung der letzten beiden Kapitel. Nun fragen Sie sich hier, warum gerade die letzten beiden Kapitel? Ganz klar. Lazarillo wird von seiner Mutter, einen Blinden als Führer überlassen, gerät danach an einen Priester und schließlich an einen Adligen. Alle 3 Herren sind so geizig, dass Lazarillo fast verhungern muss. Den Blinden kann er sich betrügen und Nahrung zu verschaffen, wird erwischt und halb totgeschlagen. Der Priester ist noch geiziger, dass Lazarillo nur beim Leichenschmaus etwas zu essen bekommt und zu beten beginnt, Gott möge doch recht viele Menschen sterben lassen. Und als er sich eine Brotrinde klaut, wird er auch von diesem Priester wieder totgeschlagen. Sein 3. Herr ist ein bettelarmer Adliger, der derart vom Standesdünkel besessen ist, dass er keine Tätigkeiten ausübt, weil er meint, sie seien unter seiner Würde. Lazarillo muss also jetzt nicht nur sich durch Betteln ernähren, sondern auch noch diesen Adligen. Nun war Betteln in der Zeit des 16. Jahrhunderts, gerade im katholischen Spanien, nicht verpönt wie heute im protestantischen Deutschland zum Beispiel oder in protestantischen Ländern. Denn die Bettler haben somit den Reichen die Möglichkeit gegeben, Geld abzugeben und zum mitzuernähren. Und so war es gar nicht schlimm, wenn man bettelte. Nur nicht alle wollten was geben, das war das Problem. Aber der Lazzarello hat ja vom Blinden gelernt, welche Tricks man anwenden kann, um an Geld heranzukommen. Nun, er verlässt den Adligen und kommt zu guter Letzt zu einem Erzpriester, der ihn rät, seine Dienstmagd zu heiraten. Er darf in einem kleinen Haus wohnen, erhält manchmal Fleisch und Gemüse und Getreide und darf sonntags sogar mit dem Erzpriester speisen. Obwohl Lazzarello es nicht direkt sagt, ist klar, dass er sich bewusst ist, mit der Heirat das sexuelle Verhältnis des Priesters mit der Dienstmagd zu legitimieren. Er hat für ein hungerfreies und gesichertes Leben seine Ehre verkauft und verraten. Und wegen dieser Gesellschaftskritik an den Erzpriester mussten natürlich das Kapitel gestrichen werden. Die Gesellschaftskritik war in Spanien nur geduldet, wenn am Ende des Romans die Kirche das letzte Wort hatte. Aus diesem Grund stand Lazzarello de Tormes auf dem Index und wurden die letzten beiden Kapitel gestrichen. Die Kirche hatte nicht das letzte Wort, Lazzarello hatte es. Und das war nicht akzeptabel.
In our next story, President Hage Geingob on Wednesday made a familiarization visit to Cleanergy Solutions Namibia, recently commenced construction of a refilling station with on-site green hydrogen production on the outskirts of Farfetch Bay. During the visit, President Hage Geingob engaged and reiterated with various project stakeholders that they play a crucial role in the realization of Namibia's green industrialization agenda. ONL Group's Innovation Manager and Cleanergy Solution Namibia, Ike Krat, tells us more.
First phase plant is here, and we will explain it a bit later, but very essential in the journey forward. The next step is all around ammonia infrastructure inside the port. What we really want to do there, and we are already in discussions and cooperations with Namport. We have reserved land there, and it is our intention to invest and build and construct ammonia storage facilities there. Also very crucial to this, we are in discussions with NAMCO. We really are talking to each other and trying to work out how best to cooperate or to go from the storage facility onto the liquid jetty. This phase is really essential in the journey forward, and it's about $200 million investment on its own. Then in the phase 3, which is then to the right, this is all about then the very serious commercial upscaling of the fuel production itself. And here we have different sites in mind. So Arandis will play a key role in this. Here at Arandis we will invest in gigawatt scale of energy renewable generation and the hydrogen production. Right next, adjacent to this site, we will build up the ammonia production facilities. And from here, the ammonia needs to go to the storage facility in the port, and from the storage facility on the liquid jetty. This phase is around $2.7 billion. Maybe on a geographical description here, we can move here. And then from the ammonia production, we need to go inside the port for the storage facility, and from the storage facility onto the liquid jetty. So, while this maybe non-commercial part that we are showing you just now is maybe small, but it's a very significant step to unlock the journey going forward to realize this big picture.
Moving over to our next story. Namibia Statistic Agency held an update conference in Windhoek in an effort to inform the nations about the progress and standing on the enumeration process. So far, 94.5% of households have been enumerated, with the remainder to be completed by the 9th of October 2023. The remaining 4.5% of households, both untouched and partially completed, are projected to be completed during a mop-up period from the 9th to the 15th of October. We will be right back.
The objective was meant to say that people had to be enumerated. It's not our objective for having people being arrested, but should the people still refuse and we also don't do something about it, so it means we are also not complying with the law, so we have to do something. The second question was, how will we ensure that the rest of the 5% that is remaining are counted? And the question was also whether it's a crime not to the people who are not making themselves due to no contact. I think the last part of that is that it is a crime because you are refusing to be enumerated. So we also know that sometimes people can find ways of not to be available. But from our side, we need to do everything in our powers to make sure that people are available. We have the police working with us. We need to make sure that really there are no people in a household. We understand that if it's something like a holiday home, somewhere where a person is not staying, we need to establish that. But should we know that there are people living in those households? It is a crime if you avoid it to be counted. So then the law must also takes its course. And just to make sure also that the rest of the people are counted, how we are going to do that from the field operations. We have a scientific approach of saying how long does it take to enumerate a household on average, meaning that how many people do we need to finalize this by latest Sunday. So those teams are in place just to make sure that we are going to have everyone counted. And that's our objective, to have everyone counted.
Extraordinary commitment to your country and all of our people. I am sure that you have received the best training and are instilled with the most noble values associated with the codes of military life. You have been drenched in these values of honor, discipline, and patriotism. We will continue to enforce those values during your unit training specific and thereafter. The tenets must form the bedrock on which your career is based, as these are some of the fundamentals for advancement within the structures. Director of Proceedings, ladies and gentlemen, the establishment of the Namibian Navy was first mooted soon after the integration of Walvis Bay into Namibia in 1994. Towards that objective, Namibia and Brazil signed a naval cooperation agreement to train officers and seamen that would establish this noble arm of the service. Consequently, the first group of officers was sent to the Federative Republic of Brazil in the same year, followed by the Command Nucleus Group in 1995. After finishing with their studies in September 1998, the Command Nucleus Group returned to Namibia and established what was then known as the Namibian Defence Force Maritime Wing.
That is all the time we had for you on this week's edition of Novelty. We will be back next week, same time, same place on your favorite platform, Namibia Press Agency. And until then, it's all our love, all our light.